It has been 10 years since my mother died and my father remarried. My own parents, who apparently married after a great romance. Perhaps he was lonely after 10 years. That was also his decision. There's no particular reason to oppose it. I'm sorry I'm late. I arrived at the wrong time for such a meeting with the other party. Well, my name is Kotaro Takenaka. I'm an office worker at a small company. I'm often ridiculed by my coworkers as an employee who doesn't stand on his own feet. It's no exaggeration to say that the president of the company hates me too. Yes, like this.
You must be quite the working man to be late for a place like this, Kotaro Takenaka.
Ugh, boss? Why are you here? This woman's name is Mimori Nakatsu. She is the president of my company. She has a very strong personality and has values that are the exact opposite of mine.
It's terrible that you're my stepbrother.
According to what I heard, my father and my stepmother to-be met at a bar somewhere and hit it off. I bet they didn't expect their children to be the president and an employee of the same company.
May I? My mom remarried, but our situation is still the same.
Well, I'm fine with the way things are. No, I'd rather use this as a story for something. What can I do?
Apparently, you want to lower your already low rating even more.
The day after that happened, it's a weekday, so of course there's work to be done. This is a small company dealing in vinyl products, and I'm a sales clerk. My duties include answering phones, issuing delivery slips, and organizing data.
What do you mean only 3 appointments for tomorrow? Don't you have any motivation?
Mimori raises her voice. It seems she's complaining about the sales staff.
Find and make 2 appointments.
It's already closing time. Bye guys. I heartily thank them, shut down my computer, and get up.
Hey, Kotaro, what are you trying to leave for?
What? It's my closing time, and I've finished my work for the day.
The others aren't leaving, are they? Why are you the only one leaving? Dad was always easy on you, but I'm not so easy on you. I wonder why he even brought an unmotivated guy like you in the first place.
Well, I guess maybe it's to watch over his punk-ass daughter.
What? Damn it!
That's right. About 3 years ago, I was brought into this company by Mimori's father. Mimori was my colleague at the time. But after 6 months, her father had an accident, and she took over the business.
Huh. I wish you'd look at it a little more from a management perspective.
I'm not sure what to say about that since I'm an employee. Oh well, since I'm your stepbrother, give me the same salary as a manager. Then, I'll look at it from the same perspective.
Enough already. Go home.
Okay, I'll see you later. Good night. Boss, why don't you fire that unmotivated guy?
If it were easy to fire him, I would. Dad's will. He told me not to let Kotaro go. I still don't know why he said that. In the first place, Japanese law has strict restrictions on dismissal. He doesn't even attend the regular drinking party. Well, as always, isn't it? Yeah, I wonder what he thinks about us. But, well, there are more and more people who think like that these days. It's like the drinking parties and company trips are a waste of time. Hobbies come first. But I think Takenaka-san is good at his job. Really? I think those who work till late are hardworking.
Next day, when I came to the office, Mimori talked to me.
I want you to give me the sales data of all the properties we do business with compared to the previous year. It looks like you have plenty of rooms, so you can do it, right?
Can I do it by tomorrow?
Tomorrow? That's a job I spent a week on before. You can't do that.
It's done.
Why? It's not even a day away, let alone tomorrow.
It's just past 5 p.m. and the company's scheduled time is 5:30 p.m. It's not even 5:30 p.m. yet.
Ugh. Even more beautiful than me, with even a graph. How could you do it in such a short time?
You can drop the original data of the sales list by CSV from our system, right? All I have to do is set up a macro in spreadsheet software.
Macro?
CSV is data extracted from the system. Macros are automation of the process.
What? I don't know what it's about, but next. Make sure there's nothing missing from the order.
You mean the order backlog? Already done.
What?
I put it out every Monday and Thursday and email it to the sales team. It's basic to keep track of delivery dates, isn't it?
Uh-huh. What is this guy? Is he a normal guy who could do his job? No, I'm not convinced.
Are you done? Well then, it's almost time for me to leave. I get up from my chair as the clock is just about to strike 5:30 p.m.
Hey, wait, I'm not done talking yet.
Just as Mimori tries to stop me, she gets her foot caught on the wiring at her feet.
What?
Oh.
Huh? It doesn't hurt.
She fell down but somehow landed on my chest.
Wait!
Mimori and I ended up in an embracing position.
Oh my gosh, this is too close. But it's not. It's gonna fall. Ahem. Well, we have to do something about the wiring.
She's saying something, but I'm not in a situation where I can afford to answer her. Ouch.
What? Hey, you! Did you hurt your right hand? Again, I'm sorry. It's your dominant hand, and you can take a paid day off tomorrow and go to the hospital.
A cool compress is applied to my wrist. It is probably a sprain. I thought you were going to tell me to go to the hospital and then go to work.
I'm not such an evil person myself. I'll file for workers' compensation too.
By the way, this is a room in an apartment near the office where Mimori lives. The company didn't have a stock of compresses, so I was almost forcibly brought here.
Anyway, I'll at least take care of you for dinner tonight since it's going to be tough with your dominant hand.
Wait, why do you have a saw to prepare dinner?
It's a cooking saw.
If I look closely, there are hammers and measuring tools in the kitchen. What the hell is this person trying to cook? Amidst the sound that you wouldn't expect to hear while cooking, I made a phone call to decline an appointment to meet someone. I'm sorry, I've got a little injury, and I'm not going to be able to go today. Behind me? Let's see, construction site.
Be delicious, be delicious, be delicious!
I hear something. Surprisingly, the food was decent, and I decided to leave after finishing the meal. Thanks for your hospitality.
It all started when I tripped over. By the way, you did a pretty good job, didn't you? I'll admit that. But if you're going to finish work early, why don't you help someone else with their work? As for me, I don't want you to disturb the harmony.
Don't be silly. Why don't you just let them all go home early, like I do? Besides, what's the use of helping those who are working overtime to do overtime?
What do you mean by that?
What do I mean? I don't see them going around to 5 different places for sales, and some of them are working slow on purpose. Call a couple of sales reps. There are some that can tell you they haven't shown up. And then there's the day's results. They're working overtime to do work they could normally do during daylight hours. Why do I have to help these people? It's ridiculous.
What do you mean ridiculous? They're working overtime and trying their best to...
Well, they are decent people, sure. But those people are working overtime because they're forced to do someone else's extra work. I'm sorry, but I don't want to help the people who cunningly earn their overtime pay. A few days later, I got called into the CEO's office.
You were right. I checked with the other side, and there were a lot of those who told me that people hadn't shown up. They hadn't even made the appointments in the first place. The workload certainly seems uneven. Thank you. Thanks to you, I'm now aware of it. I've given them a heads up, and I'm sure they'll be fine now.
She smiled softly at me saying so. Well, I hope it will settle by giving them a warning. I was a little concerned. Now, I'm sure it's true that Mimori warned them, but as to whether it will change, it's not that easy. I let out a sigh. Well, on the surface, it is true that they were warned. They reflected on their actions, and they made improvements. But it's not so easy to make a difference. Once you learn how to make easy money, well, I guess you will continue to do so. Half a month has passed since then, and sales have not changed, and new clients have not increased. If a few salespeople were going around to do sales to 5 clients a day, we should be hearing from them. They are probably pretending to be on a sales trip to make a delivery, or they are just showing their faces and leaving immediately. Incidentally, some people in the office are also making unnecessary work to overtime. They're getting more and more skillful at skipping work, which is also quite common.
Hey, Kotaro, everyone's still here.
They're not gonna change their minds. Well, if the boss talks like that, no one will be able to go home on time, will they?
Hey!
It's rare for me to argue like this in front of everyone.
Hey, it's true that Kotaro and I used to be colleagues. But now I've taken over my father's company and I'm the president. And you are an ordinary employee. You should know your position. You're getting paid, so why don't you show a little more initiative?
After that, we had an argument. She said to go home, and so I did. All I do is sigh. Although she said that I should be motivated because I'm getting paid to do it, I don't agree with that kind of thing just because of what they say and do on the surface. As an adult, I guess I just have to put up with it. I guess it's time to pull the plug. In the end, I went to work the next day with the intention of submitting my resignation. Maybe that's the best thing for me and for Mimori. To be frank, it was actually more of a hassle than anything else. Good morning!
What is this?
When I entered the office, Mimori was shouting loudly at the sales manager. What's going on?
Well, I heard that Love Stationery Service has been taken by another company.
Love Stationery Service? Love Stationery Service is a very loyal customer who accounts for 40% of this company's sales. Let me see our profit and loss for the last year. Later, Mimori visits the client with the sales manager. The bottom line is that once something has been changed, it cannot be undone. The cause, to put it simply, is the lack of communication between our sales staff and theirs. No new proposals are made, and even when they do come to the clients, they leave immediately, and they give a good internal report. The person in charge of doing this is the sales manager himself, so it's hard to see how it could happen. I suppose it's possible that Mimori is getting underestimated. That's the worst thing that could have happened. I enter the president's office and call out to Mimori.
Shut up! It's just a small loss. I'll do my best to get it back.
You know, this is not a problem that can be solved by such optimistic gut feelings.
What? You look more serious than ever.
Have you been looking at our P&L since you became president? I put the profit and loss statement I just printed on our desk.
Yes, I'm at least looking at a profit and a loss.
Stupid. Take out the profit from Love Stationery Service from this figure. We're in the red. Big time.
What?
Not right away, but a year or the very least 2 years from now, we'll be bankrupt.
Bullshit! Right? Why would you say that?
Mimori's face changes color as if she finally understands now that the word bankruptcy has been uttered. Losing a big client would do that much damage.
You mean that I'm going to destroy the company I inherited from my father in just a few years?
Simply put, Mimori's lack of study is the cause this time, and you don't have the strength to deal with it. It's still better that she doesn't blame the manager.
What should I do? What should I do? Hey, Kotaro!
What is it?
Do I have to get everyone to work harder? Well, yes. I can ask them to bring in a lot of new projects and increase the volume of orders.
Mimori looks at me as if she's hanging on. Maybe her heart is on the verge of breaking. If it were that easy, no company would have a hard time. Oh, and you better not tell everyone about this right away. It will only increase the number of retirees. Mimori, are you crying? Mimori's eyes had large tears in them, and they were spilling out.
Shut up! Then what should I do about it? You've been acting so high and mighty for a while now. I'm not going to let you get away with it. You can't do it anyway, can you?
Well, I guess there's something I can do.
What about...
I squeezed the resignation letter in my breast pocket. Her father took good care of me, and in a manner of speaking, I'm Mimori's stepbrother. Well, it would be nice to help out my stepsister once last time. Actually, I used to be a management consultant, and a very good one at that. Mimori, are you going to entrust me with this? Mimori took my hand and entrusted the company to me. Having gained a truly great cause, I'm going to make my move. From now on, we will change the evaluation system. Completely eliminate the pay raise system based on the president's mental evaluation. Evaluation will be based on performance, results, and quality of work. In other words, for sales, it will be the number of new acquisitions and the amount of sales. For clerical work, the evaluation will be based on the amount of work and work efficiency. This will lift the spirits of the employees a little. Yes, it is past regular time. Please go home promptly. Next, the principle of unrestricted overtime work is prohibited. If you want to work overtime, you must give a valid reason. Because they were allowed to work overtime at their own discretion, there were a lot of lazy workers. Needless to say, however, there was considerable opposition. So we lifted the ban on side jobs, which had been prohibited, and convinced them. For starters, we'll probe the fixed costs thoroughly, in parallel with people. Hey, why are you paying hundreds of thousands of yen every year for local festivals? Cut back.
Oh no, if we donate that, they'd put our names on the lanterns.
Ah, idiot. We're not a community-based company. We don't even need the paper because not many people read it.
I'm looking forward to the 4-panel comic.
Of course, I also look into the details. Basically, lined paper is sufficient for internal documents. No need to buy tea, let alone tea snacks to eat in the office.
You enemy of female employees.
Shut up, then pay them out of your pocket money. 2 months went by like that. After everyone was sent home, Mimori and I were sorting things out.
That's great! A drastic reduction in expenses and an increase in the number of new projects won. Can't we get by with this?
No. Would have prolonged our lives, but we are still far from being in the black. I look at the numbers and frown. That's how much it hurts to lose a big client. I didn't want to use this move too much, but I guess I don't have a choice. Mimori, do you have any time from now? If you want, why don't you go to dinner with me?
What? Hey, what's with the sudden... Why did you suddenly ask me out on a date? Don't tell me he's thinking of me. Why are you and I together?
I want to go with Mimori.
Yeah.
I'm glad there's a beautiful lady today.
Huh. Who is this old man?
Hey, don't point at him. It's rude. We've arrived at a little fancy restaurant.
I mean, you really suck.
Why am I getting a sigh and a no look from you? This guy is the president of Kome Kome Shoji.
What? Isn't Rice Cum Cum Trading a major trading company with overseas operations?
The opposite. They came to Japan from overseas. I have been working with Kotaro for a while. Now he's a friend and advisor. I mean, he's my old client. We often meet like this when he's in Japan. Miss, it's nice to meet you.
Yes.
The two shake hands.
I'm so exhausted from nervousness.
After the meal, Mimori's tension finally dissipated. Even though I led her on, it was great that they were able to exchange business cards and talk about their jobs. Later on, he has offered her the opportunity to officially promote herself to the head of the Japan branch. This isn't the only time. I'm going to have you meet a few more people.
What? Who are you? Why do you know such people?
I'm a former consultant. Thanks to that, I know a lot of the bosses. Even after I quit, I often go out to dinner with them. Well, they buy me drinks, so I at least give them advice.
So you go home on time because of it?
Well, that's one reason.
Why would you go to such a small place like ours when you have such big connections?
I looked up at the night sky and responded nostalgically to his question. Nothing particularly. I met your father at a bar and we hit it off. He told me to come work for him when I got tired of my current job. But I remember him jokingly laughing that if anything happened to him, he'd do everything he could to get help from me.
I see. That's why my father told me not to let Kotaro go.
I then introduced Mimori to several CEOs. As a result, she succeeded in getting several positive responses. I think we're all set now. Now, it's up to her. It's been 6 months since I started managing the company. Thanks to cost-cutting efforts, the company had returned to its previous level of profit. I made up my mind and entered the president's office to find Mimori looking pleased.
Oh, Kotaro! We did it! They say it's a big deal for overseas project. The profit margin on each piece is low, but we'll be able to secure enough profit because of the large number of pieces we'll be able to produce.
That's great, I said, holding out something in my hand to Mimori.
What is this?
The expression on Mimori's face suddenly disappears, and she asks me what I meant by the resignation letter I gave her. I was originally going to give you this that day. You and I have different ways of thinking, so if I stay at this company any longer, we'll just end up arguing again.
I see. Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't tell you too.
She bowed deeply in front of me, holding out my resignation letter.
I'm sorry. I can't accept that, because you are necessary to our company. I am truly sorry for my immaturity in evaluating your abilities based on the surface of things.
Mimori looks up, comes to me, and speaks up.
Kotaro, I owe you a debt of gratitude that I cannot repay. I beg you, please give me a chance to repay you, even if it's just a little. Besides, I was wrong. I'm sure I didn't see it. You are a man I can count on.
Mimori said this with a superior look in her eyes, and my heart unexpectedly beat faster. And in the end, I didn't even get to submit my resignation letter a second time. I was done with consulting and back to my old job.
Ugh, it's a pain in the ass. Thanks to the extra evaluation system.
It's true, we won't be able to earn overtime, and it's a pain in the ass to take it seriously. There's still a lot of jealousy due to the reforms ahead. Is this what happens to people when their vested interests are taken away? Ignore, ignore, ignore.
Shut up! I am the one who made the final decision. If you want to complain, you complain directly to me.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Mimori sighs as the two run away at her rebuke.
Well, Kotaro, are you sure you're free this evening?
What? Oh, today.
Don't tell me you can go to dinner with the president of the other company, but not with me.
Don't pressure me. I got it. Yes, for some reason, Mimori told me to leave this evening open. And then, in the evening, while we were relaxing over dinner at a cozy rote restaurant, Mimori began to talk to me.
To be honest, at first I thought it was terrible that this guy was going to be my stepbrother. But now, Kotaro, I want you to support me by my side. I want to be with you as my life partner. Not as a stepbrother, but as a man.
It was her way of confessing her feelings. I could only nod my head in dumbfounded agreement.